Hello.
Hello. Welcome
Welcome
to
to
the
the
Knit
Knit
Girls. This
Girls.
is episode. I feel like there's an echo. This is episode 219. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It
I'm going to
is
adjust my picture a little bit.
September the 7th, 2014.
It is.
It's the first day, well, in this house, it's the first day of football season. NFL.
I believe well, I guess there was a Thursday night game. So,
yeah, it's the first game that Mr. Awesome has watched, and his team won for a change.
They didn't just win. So Mr. Awesome's team, which is Leslie's significant other, he is a Miami Dolphins fan.
Yes.
And the poor Miami Dolphins are in a division with the New England Patriots. And the New England Patriots are like Goliath.
Yeah, that's the one that Tom Brady's on, right?
Yes.
And he's like the sweetheart of the NFL or something.
Okay. And they have like the best coach, Bill Belichick. Like, he's an awesome coach, and he always gets ranked number one and will never get fired from New England. Anyway, so they are like Goliath, and the Miami Dolphins are like David. And they took their little slingshot and they took down the Patriots. I'm sorry for all you Patriots fans. Yeah. But it was like, and they came back. Like, they scored something like a crazy amount of unanswered points, just like the Browns did against the Steelers. But like this crazy amount, and they won, and that's like a big deal.
Yeah, I know Michael was very happy. So I don't care at all about football, but you know, if you do, I hope that your team wins one.
Buffalo Bills won too, so the Bills and the Dolphins are both ahead of the Patriots. Like, this is like, I feel like an asteroid's going to hit the moon or something.
What about the Jets?
I didn't see.
No.
They were playing at the noon game, which I'm in Central Time, so the game started at noon, but it's really 1 o'clock. But I didn't see if they won or not.
That's the other team, Michael. Michael is not a fan of the Patriots or the Jets.
So, and the Steelers won, which is my team. They squeaked it out by 3 in the last second. So,
wow.
Literally the last second. They scored a field goal with like a second left, like the last play of the game.
Good for them.
So, yeah.
So this is not actually a football podcast.
It's not. I like how you chant, because you know I go on a rant for like a minute.
This is a knitting show. So
Get me on knitting. I'm in the middle of the row. Are you?
I am also in the middle of the row, but I can talk about it and then show you. So
Okay.
I talked to you guys last week about my friend Ro and how she had passed away, and how I wanted to do a knit-along in her honor and in honor of anybody who's lost anybody. And I have a sock pattern out there, Georgia on My Mind, which I designed 2 or 3 years ago for her. And it's a free pattern. And so I spent all week sort of trying to flip-flopping about it. And I just didn't feel like it was, I don't know, it just didn't feel right to knit them for her. So as right now, right this minute. And so as I was going through the things that she sent me, because before she passed away, she sent me the bulk of her stash, and told Laura and I to go through it and pick some things for ourselves, give some away, do whatever we wanted with it. So I was going through her stash this weekend and taking photographs, because I like to have everything on Ravelry. And as I was going through, I found only a couple of things where she noted that this yarn was meant for this pattern. Most of the stuff, she didn't make that note. And one of the things was that she wanted to knit a Bridgewater, which is a pattern by Jared Flood.
The gorgeous pattern by Jared Flood. It's kind of, I don't want to say square. Is it more rectangular in shape?
It's a square shawl. Let me pull it up for you and show you. It's by Jared Flood. It's an older Jared Flood pattern. He designed it for Classic Elite, I think. And it's knit out of lace weight. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a Shetland shawl, because it has an applied edging as well. But
it's similar in style.
It is. It's very similar in style. So this is what it looks like. It's a big square, and it looks like this. So it's a big garter square, and then you pick up around the edge of the square and you knit circularly some lace, and then you do an applied edging. And she wanted to knit it in this Madeline Tosh Silver Fox.
It's gorgeous.
And she has 2 skeins of it in there. And I thought maybe it would be better if I just knit a pattern that I know that she wanted to knit. And she ran out of time. So that's what I decided to do. And I put it off, even winding the yarn. Just, I don't know, in my mind it was like, if I don't do it, then she's not gone, it's like,
yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately that isn't the case. So I just started it earlier today while Kobe was watching some awful show on Netflix called Slug something. I don't know, it's about slugs. Anyway.
Is it animated or real?
It's animated, yeah. It's kind of like Pokemon, but with slugs.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds awesomely not fun.
So I'm using the size that the pattern calls for, which is a 3.75 millimeter US 5. And you start with a single stitch, and there's increases on every row, and you increase out to a certain number, and then you decrease back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be knitting garter stitch for a while. And this is something I may put down for a month at a time, but it's just something that, I don't know, I can think of her while I'm knitting it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that makes me happy. So I did not knit on either of my sweaters that are on the needles right now. But I did finish the shawl out of Infinite Twists, the Handspun that she sells, but I don't have it with me. It's drying on the deck right now, so
okay.
I'll show you guys next week.
Fun.
So that's really all the knitting that I have. I'm kind of a slacker this week. I'm sorry.
Well, I got to the end of my row and I stopped, but I messed up, so I'm gonna figure out how to. I didn't. So on I am knitting the Alice shawl.
I need to cast that on.
ALLIS, and I have a hot mess. Is what I have on my desk. There's the tag. It is the Stella Polaris.
Stella Polaris.
Polaris. There we go. I was trying to read the tag
backwards.
on my computer monitor backwards because that's how we do it. It is out of Volmisa DK, which is approximately 468 yards. Mine's a little less because mine had a knot in it, like 10 grams in, so I've just set that aside, and I'm not even going to count that. So I have 190 grams. I don't feel like joining for just 10 grams. We'll see.
It can be like a good in case of emergency.
In case I run out of yarn type thing. Definitely. So this is how it looks, and how I messed up is I just forgot to do an increase round. I'm knitting it on, so you increase right here every 4 stitches, every 4 rows, and I noted it on my pattern, so I highlighted the number of the rows on the chart that you increase on, but then I was talking to you, and so I just ignored it. So I'll just it's not a big deal, I'll increase here. Anyway, and this is why when I knit something like that square that you're doing right now, or a dishcloth, it always comes out, because I'm like, I'll just
whatever.
Fix the next row. No, it's a little bit lopsided. Anyway, this is the Alice shawl, and this is I'm on the 3rd repeat of the chart right now, so it's slowly getting there. I've been listening to Outlander and knitting on it, so I'm only like an hour into Outlander. So I'm enjoying it so far. I love the Volmisa DK. It's just such a bouncy, soft. It's got a lot of twist to it, so it's definitely got some great stitch definition, as you can see.
Oh yeah.
So love that. That's the first thing on my needles. Like I said, that's on size 6. I'm knitting it on signatures, and it doesn't have a bag yet because it's not a travel project. Other things that I am working on are my Halloween socks that I started out of another Crafty Girl. I think it's in the Halloween Town colorway. I need to look that up. And I'm using one of the Gel Bee Flock Locks, which is this cute little thing. It's got 2 rubber ends to it.
Yeah.
And mine has a fox. And he's very smarmy looking. I love him.
So you have a fox that guards your socks.
I'm very Dr. Seussian. And it's hanging out in my Kicks and Giggles Halloween bag.
Oh,
This
nice.
is for our Halloween cow. And it's just a simple pattern that I'm playing with that really changes up pooling or eliminates pooling. So I'm just playing with it. I'm designing it as I go.
Cool.
So that's about it. I like the way the ribbing pulls on the edge. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway,
so you're knitting those on double points?
I am. I'm knitting them on signature double points that actually were a gift from Ro. And they are size 1s, 2.25s. So that is what I am doing right now. And then that's it for me for knitting. I do have a finished object, which I knit 3 times because I'm ridiculous.
Oh no.
So I didn't knit this pattern 3 times. I knit 3 different patterns before I came up with one that I liked.
Oh wow.
So this is the problem. So I spun this super bulky loop bat. So it's super bulky, but it's not super bulky on both sides. Like, this is a little bit skinnier. So, and it was only like 40 yards. So, like, what do you do with this? So I started doing a 2x2 ribbed, 2x2 ribbed cowl, and then I discovered a knot. So at that point, it was going like this. So let's pretend this is not here. So it was a 2x2 cowl, or a 2x2 ribbed cowl, and like it started with this dark pink or light pink and moved this way, and then by accident the white, which was supposed to go like with this lighter, it was supposed to gradiate, like had a knot in it because apparently I couldn't fit it all on one bobbin.
Yeah.
So like then it was ending with the white to a light pink, and it looked stupid. So I ripped, like it went from there. There was a strong color change right there.
Yeah.
So I ripped that out, and I was like, I don't really want to knit on size 17 needles. So then I found this hat pattern that was supposedly only used like 30 yards. I knit that, and I got to the crown, and I ran out of yarn. So that didn't work for me. And that was on size 13s, and it was really too tight, and it was making my hands hurt. So now we're at the halftime point of the Steelers game.
Oh, you've knit this 3 times today?
Yes.
Wow.
And so, then I was like, I remember our friend from St. Louis. Now I'm going to forget her name.
Jackie?
Jackie knit a mustard scarf. And I was like, that's super cute. I'll knit one of those. But I know I'm going to, because it calls for like 150 yards. So I want it nice and loose and airy. So I'm going to knit on size 19 needles.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. These are my huge size 19s. I think they're Brysons. These were one of the first sets of needles that I own, and they're like discolored. I love it. So I knit on this, and I got, it's supposed to be like 27 inches by 9. So instead of casting on the number that you're supposed to cast on, I cast on 14 stitches and went to town. And it's got glitter in it too. It
does. Pretty. I remember you spinning that.
So it's going to be a scarf for Julia. I'm going to put a big old button because it calls for a button. It's like 22 inches versus the 27. So I think it'll be perfect for her. I'm going to block it and then weave in the ends. I did weave in where I joined already with a crochet hook because the yarn's too thick to fit in one of my tapestry needles.
This thing is making noise. I'm sorry, my phone is making noise. Stop. I'm sorry.
That's not even a ringtone. What is that?
It was Mary Lambert's new song, Secrets. I don't know how it came up, though. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so it's going to be for Julia or Alice. I haven't decided yet, and I'll go in the Christmas box. And I just need like a big pink button to go on it.
Yeah, I love it. It's
going to be my Quidditch, which is why I wanted to use this yarn. Because Quidditch this term is all about umbrage.
That mean professor lady? Yeah.
Or pink. So pink was one of the things that you could do. So it's, and it's sparkly pink. Hello. So it's going to go in the,
You could, instead of doing a big button, you could do like, you could weave ribbon into part of, you know, one edge of it, and then it could just tie a little ribbon. That would be cute.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, definitely. I'll ask Emily what she prefers. Oh, and Julia carried her heart with her to school all week this week.
Oh, that's
Her
so
picture
sweet.
about it, like a boss. But so that's my finished object, which took me less than an hour to make. But I really like that pattern for handspun. I'll have to do it with
You,
more yardage for me at a later
you
date.
should spin another one of your loop bats for your other niece and make another one.
I could do that as well.
Because what that couldn't have taken you long to even spin it because it was so thick.
No, no, I spun it. I can tell you exactly when I spun it. So when my library was under renovations, they moved me to like an outside building, and none of the principals would come down to my outside building. And the kids didn't want to. Like if it was a rainy day, the kids wouldn't come down, or
Yeah.
either you'd have to go out in the rain to get to this building. So
So you got some spinning done.
spent days reading and spinning in my library, which was perfect because it was easy to put down. And that's also the year that I have like pictures of my kids learning how to spin on it. Well, I have pictures from last year too. But yeah, we totally did that a couple years ago. Don't judge me, teacher people. Other things that. So now I'm kind of going into spinning, and I'm just gonna roll with it.
That's fine.
Other spinning that I've done this week is I finished the Funhouse colorway
Ooh, I like that.
of Southern Cross Fiber. So it's Funhouse. It is Falkland, and it really came out much better than I thought. Like when I was spinning it, all I could see was like that orange and red and
Yeah.
yellows. Super fall, but I love those pops of blue. So super happy with that. I got 400 yards.
Nice.
402 to be exact, but I'm gonna say 400.
Yeah.
So, and it's a light fingering. Really happy with that. Took forever to apply. Once I got that off my wheel, I started spinning.
Ooh, I like that.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's super ugly. I love that on the Acreworks you can see through the end, so that's one end. And then you can see there's a lighter green in the bottom of this one too. And these are Acreworks bobbins.
Mm-hmm.
They're super fun. And there's like a super, I feel like it's a red down in there, like under the mustard. Anyway,
I totally love that.
it was a freebie actually. So Moon River, I had ordered something
Yeah.
from her, and she put on her website that it was Polworth, but it was in fact Falkland. And so she, and I didn't even know this. She just sent me 2 braids to make up for it. So she sent me this Polworth. It's seconds, which means that it had some shortcuts in it, but I just picked those out as I was spinning. And it's in the Tom Baker colorway, which is a Doctor Who reference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's, So it's the color of his scarf. I hate it when stuff's like a Whovian right now is going, oh my god, that's so awesome,
Yeah.
and it's totally lost on, the coolness of that is lost on me. So I'm torn between,
So I'm going to interrupt you there for just a second because I don't know if I mentioned before that you told me to watch Sherlock, and at the time I was like, whatever. And then I was in Baltimore and I was like, ooh, Benedict Cumberbatch, I'll do this. And I watched all 3 seasons while I was in Baltimore, and I cannot wait for more.
there's a behind-the-scenes documentary.
I've watched it. Yeah, it's on Netflix right after the last episode of season 3 or whatever. So yeah, I watched it. So anyway, back to your spinning.
Anyway, so you have to trust me.
I
Just like
do.
you think that you would like Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. And
Yeah.
it was so awesome.
I haven't watched that since you left.
Aww. Anyway, Doctor Who. So this is the Tom Baker colorway. I like the, so how she does her in this Moon River kettle dyed top. This is a lavender sachet.
Oh, that's cool.
So her tags are actually lavender sachets. So anyway, I'm not certain if I'm going to Navajo ply it is one option to keep those colors, or ply it with like a gray. I was actually thinking like a navy blue.
I really liked when you plied that one yarn with a solid color. I've been itching to do that since then.
So I don't know. I don't have any navy blue is the problem, so I would have to buy some.
Yeah.
So I might just reply it and Navajo ply it and call it a day.
Yeah.
Just stay consistent. This would be a great like 1x1 rib, every other row striping type scarf.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think with a solid that way too. So I might do that and send it to a friend of ours. But anyway, all thoughts. I haven't decided yet. But those are Acreworks bobbins and Moon River fiber. And then the last thing that I have is I am teaching myself, with the help of the internet, and Malia of the Yarn Raising podcast showed me at SSK real fast. She was done shopping and I was sitting on the staff table.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, what should we call that?
That's pretty much what it is. It's like a concierge table or something. I don't know.
I was sitting there checking people in for the afternoon crowd, and she was sitting there spinning, waiting for people, and I was watching her play on the fly. And so she has the coolest method for doing that. If you don't watch the Yarn Raising podcast, she is A, adorable, B, one of the most intelligent people I've ever met.
Seriously.
And C, super enthusiastic about spinning in particular, but a really overall awesome person. So if you're interested in spinning or how yarn is made, or just awesome knitting and spinning in general, I strongly recommend her.
Also, she travels a lot and talks about her travels.
Yes. So I bought 4 spindles in the last week and a half.
Oh my God.
Stop judging me.
I'm not. I'm just overwhelmed with happiness.
Because when I do something, I don't do it.
This is true.
Something out. I'm like, dude, we're going all in. So one of my goals for this month, the month of September, is to spin 15 minutes on a spindle every day. And I've started that. And as I give them like a good tryout, I will show them to y'all.
That was loud.
I don't know how, because it's all the way over here. That is Lynn's special ringtone, which is not nearly as annoying as your special ringtone.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is, you spin a single, and then you ply it, and then you wind it on, and then you spin more of a single. So the single is this right here. And the fiber that I'm using, I'm almost out of the green. So I'm doing some decent progress. And I've been spinning like 15 minutes a day all week. Is this pretty stuff. It is from Foster Sheep Farm. She sent this to us to check out. And it is a Romney mohair blend.
Yeah.
And there's her card. So I figured this was the perfect amount to try out on my wee little spindle. Yeah. And this spindle is, I had mentioned to Sarah of Knitting Color at SSK that, like, I thought Derek, her husband, who's Subterranean Woodworks, was bringing a purple little tiny Turk, and it was pink. And I was like, oh, I really want a purple one. So she texted me, or she emailed me last week, and she's like, hey, if you still want a purple one, Derek's got the wood, and he's going to make it. And I was like, I've already bought 3 spindles this week.
Why not?
So, it came, and I immediately, it's so tiny, like, I can put it in my, I could almost put it in my pockets. But, I can just stick it in my bag, in a small bag, and just play with it. So, it's super teeny tiny, and I love it. It is, he calls it his small spindle. It is only 15 grams.
That is small.
And, it's just wee and awesome. And it's maple that's been dyed purple. And then regular maple for the shaft. So, it makes me happy. And I love that it's, this is how 2 I am. Can you see the shaft?
You said light fingering earlier, and I was like, I'm going to lose it. I'm 5 or 11, I don't know.
I've had way too many Diet Dr. Peppers today, like 5 of them. It's awesome. I'm running on pure sugar or fake sugar, whichever. Anyway, so that is, I think that's that's everything I've been working on. I have been washing some Romney fleece, and I've done around 8 ounces of that, and I'll show it to y'all when it's dry, and I've been carding the border luster into itty bitty bats so that it's ready to go for October when we are doing
Spinzilla.
Spinzilla, so my owl, I kind of talked to y'all about it last week, is actually doing some fly on the fly, and then spinning 2 pounds, and I'm hoping to spin a pound of that during Spinzilla. So I'm hoping I have 2 pounds of border luster, which looks like it's super dirty, y'all, even though it's been washed. So it looks like this, and I am picking it in that box behind me. This thing, that's a picker. It's basically a box with very sharp nails that go up from the bottom on an angle, and then down from the top on an angle, and you just scooch it around, and it opens the locks up, and then they are ready for carding. It's pretty long. I probably could have combed it. In fact, Mom did comb some of it, and it came out pretty. But I'm learning that I don't have patience for combing.
It is time consuming. And on that topic, I washed over the course of the last week, I actually washed the entire Cordell fleece, my half of it that we got at Maryland.
3.5 pounds.
Yeah, 3.5, something like that. And it's a beautiful brown, and it did have more second cuts than I anticipated, but now I have a better understanding of what to look for. Do you want to explain to people who don't know what second cuts are? So, basically, when a shearer, the guy that shaves the sheep, or the person that shaves the sheep, when they are handling the sheep and shearing off all the wool, sometimes they may not...
The sheep don't really stand super still for this.
Yeah, they're not thrilled about it.
They're not, like, hanging out.
Yeah, like, I'm cool with being on my butt backwards, sure, whatever. But experienced shearers can do it really quickly and cause less stress to the sheep. But basically, it's like they're giving the sheep a buzz cut, and if they happen to miss and leave, an inch on instead of the 1/4 inch or whatever, then they have to go back and cut it again. That's a second cut. So it's basically a shorter cut than the whole length of the fleece. So if they, angle their hand away and they miss that, big section and there's still an inch of fleece on there, they've got to go back and get it off.
The problem with that as a spinner is those second cuts are real teeny tiny and they cause nets.
Yeah, they end up balling up into little balls and they cause noils or neps. And they're not spinnable, really. I mean, if you wanted to, life is too short to deal with them, but if you really wanted to, you could flick them out until they're all nice and straight and blend them in, but I wouldn't. I just pick them out and throw them away.
Or you could use them for stuffing, I guess.
Yeah, put them out for the birds or whatever, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I threw out. My border luster was really bad with second cuts. Of the 3 pounds, I threw out over 1 pound of second cuts.
Yeah, the first one that I cleaned, the Cormo, was pretty good. I mean, it had some second cuts, but it wasn't bad. Mm-hmm. But the Cordell definitely had more. I would say I threw out at least 4 ounces worth of second cuts, which was a lot more.
Yeah, that is. And that's, and you're paying for that weight.
Right.
So you throw it out. But that was also that lamb's first shearing, so I wonder if it was kind of like...
It probably was not thrilled and sitting still. But my question I want to pose to the audience is, I really hate flicking out the ends. I feel like that is wasted time. I feel like there's got to be a faster way. And I have a drum carder, so I do, after the ends are flicked out, then I do run it through the drum carder. And,
so we're talking about mainly the Cormo.
Well, the Cormo and the Cordell, it's still got tips that have to be flicked out.
Okay.
So I need a faster way to flick out these tips. Somebody has got to have a faster way than taking, an inch in diameter, twisting it, flicking out the one end, and turning it over and flicking out the other end, and because that's going to get me like 2 ounces an hour, and that is not acceptable. I got to go faster than that.
I think you'll be surprised when, I could get, by the end of the Cormo, I was getting around 1 ounce done every 15 minutes with the flicking and then running it through the carder. So I think you'll be surprised.
I want a faster way. There's got to be one. So you guys, I would love to hear that in the episode thread for episode 219. But I did actually spin some this week. I have a friend who has requested mittens, and she is making me socks in exchange. So I'm down for that.
Aww.
So I spun up, I did a 3-ply of some wool gatherings. This is 70% oatmeal BFL and 30% silk.
That's pretty.
So it spun up to be probably a bulky, maybe a worsted, but more likely a bulky.
And that was part of the club that you were in?
It was, and she doesn't do colorway names, like she does numbers, so even telling you that would be pretty pointless. But she's always got a really good selection of stuff on her site.
She does, and she's got a great selection of natural stuff as well.
Yeah, so this is Wool Gatherings. It's a true 3-ply, and it was pretty fun to spin. I did end up with more left on one bobbin, of course. But I'm hoping eventually that goes away. And actually,
I ended up with 2 ounces extra on one bobbin.
Actually, I made a mistake, and it's the first time I've ever made this mistake since I started spinning. And I didn't realize it until I was halfway through plying. I plied it in the same direction. And I was like, and I kept trying to check like the twist by letting a little bit out and seeing if it would twist on itself, and it was like coming apart. And I was like, why is it doing this? And then I look on my Handspun, and the little toggle was flipped the wrong way, and I'm like, son of a... So I just had to keep going, because at that point...
I did that when Jess was spinning on my wheel, and she was spinning the Shetland, too. And, like, she started spinning the wrong direction, so I then had, like, it totally messed me up.
Was this when we were at Stacy's?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I'm super excited I get to see Stacy in a few weeks. Stacy attempted...
That was our very first Expand Your Horizons.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Oh. Wow.
Anyway,
that's done.
That's gorgeous. You know, in your response to the flicking thing, the easiest thing for you to do would just pay someone to make you pretty roving out of your fleeces.
It's already an investment of and I talked to Jasmine about this, because we talked about how she, when she picks out a fleece, she gives it to Morrow, Sherry at Morrow Fleece Works. And
that's Jasmine of the Knitmore Girls.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jasmine of the Knitmore Girls. And, in a couple months, she gets it back, and it's in this beautiful pin-drafted roving. So it goes from smelly, fleece. They wash it, they card it, they comb it, and it's all in long sliver of beautiful wool. But when I've already paid, X amount, $50, $100 for a fleece, it's hard for me to justify paying more to get it cleaned when I can do it. I just have to have the time to do it.
Their last episode made me want to go to that Monterey wool auction in the worstest of ways.
Yeah.
Sounds like so much fun.
I'd really like to go to Oregon Flock and Fiber too. Or Black Sheep. Black Sheep would be nice.
Even Wisconsin was this past weekend.
Yeah, I know. It looked great.
Super fun. Anyway, your spinning looks gorgeous. We do have a question from Hungry for Yarn.
Okay.
Hey Leslie, hi Laura. I want to try and drop Spindle again. Give it a whirl again. So my question is, what fiber should I purchase and how much? It's a top drop spindle. Nothing fancy special about it really, but I want to try this again, and I feel that if I had the right fiber, it would possibly be to be able to spin without the frustrations. So I do agree in that, like, fiber selection
can make it huge. Can be a make or break it.
Yeah, like, doing this, I love the Romney and the mohair, but you can see I don't know if y'all can see, but there's all the fuzziness, and that, if I was a less experienced spinner, that would definitely cause a bit of problems. So,
I would recommend not merino.
Yeah, I think BFL or Cordell are both their medium to longer lengths.
You want something that's a little bit grabby. Like, merino is super smooth, and that's fantastic. But if you're just a beginner spinner and you're a spindler and you're trying to just make the spindle spin and the yarn not break, you need something that's got a little bit of grab to it. So it may not be, next to the skin soft or, cashmere soft, but it'll get you to a point where you get the motions down.
So the other thing is, if you're doing top whirl, if you're doing non-supported spindling, suspended spindling, you want your length of your fiber long enough that if it gets a little twist, it'll still hold together. Versus shorter staple length fibers, if the twist isn't up here, it's down here, and you're holding it up here, it's going to fall and drop.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
The longer length staples,
I think Corriedale would be good. BFL would be good. Falkland is actually not bad. Although it sort of depends on your lot, because Falkland is a region versus a breed.
Yeah, Falkland it's mostly Polworth, so it just depends.
Yeah, Polworth is a little slick for a beginner, I think.
It's just every batch of fiber comes from a different sheep, so there's different results. So that being said, if you've tried like Falkland and you hated it the one time you spun it, try it again.
Yeah.
Because it ranges from sheep to sheep, from mill to mill. So
yeah,
definitely and that's a total different conversation, but I think that's definitely worth trying again. So I like BFL. It's a great fiber. It is soft enough to wear next to the skin. So
I would also consider getting some pencil roving.
Yeah.
Because pencil roving kind of doesn't necessarily eliminate, but it lessens the stress of drafting, because it's already, thin enough, and you can draft it more if you want, but you can focus on learning the twist and drop and the motion without having to worry about the drafting so much as well.
I also think for beginners, the park and draft method, where you draft it out, then you add the twist, you stop, and you draft it out, and then you add the twist, is awesome. Like, that allows you to get started without doing all the motions at one time.
Yeah, and so you can search on YouTube for spinning park and draft. It'll give you a good intro to it. We might even have a video.
Spindle's a great video too, and so is the Maggie Casey.
Yeah.
Learn to draft.
Anything Maggie Casey does is wonderful.
Yep. So I think that's it for that. I hope that helps to some degree. We do have a book review.
Yes, from Cooperative Press.
Sorry, I said that weird because I'm in the middle of like a lace row and I have the chart on there, and I was like, now I'm going to have to switch over. But we do have the lovely book, which is Mystic Shawls.
Yes, by Anna Dalviapos.
The awesome people over at Cooperative Press sent this to us to review. And I'm going to take my iPad out of its case.
It's a compilation of all of her mystery, mystic-themed shawls. There's 14 of them.
And it retails for $16.95 for the e-version. Like Leslie just said, it is stuff that's already been published, and each individual pattern would cost you $8.50 if you were going to download the individual patterns. So it's definitely, if you weren't involved in the Knitalongs that she did for these the first time around, it's definitely worth checking out. They're gorgeous. I really think this book is perfect for people who love to knit lace and are experienced lace knitters.
Yeah, like process knitters. Although the end results of these are beautiful. I think it would be a fantastic sort of opus of lace knitting, like how Gigi of Knitmore's is working through the Hunter Hammerson book, Knitter's Curiosity Cabinet, for socks. I think this would be a great one to work through for shawls, because they're all beautiful.
They're gorgeous. The first one is Mystic Waters, and because they were mystery Knitalongs, you're not going to do the same pattern throughout the entire body of the shawl. It came out as clues, and so they change as the clues progress. So like on this one, the border is the same, but it changes throughout, and it's a huge piece.
Yeah, it is. It's enormous.
It's absolutely stunning. And she gives you the background on what inspired the shawl, which is awesome to know. Every design has at least 2 pictures, one on a person and one laying flat. And
she's featured a lot of her the people who have knit them, her group.
Yeah.
She features a lot of their photos in here as, alternates for color or fiber or whatever. And
the models photos were taken by Kara Sheridan, the person who does the Craftsy class on photography. So they're very well done. Great variety of pictures.
I like Mystic Meadows. This is actually a stole. it just wants to show you.
Wow.
Um,
Like it, and now it shows whatever you have. Maybe
yeah.
if you angle it a little bit.
Let's see if I can get it here. Sorry, it just won't. Anyway, I like the Mystic Meadow. It's a long rectangular stole, but the pattern actually changes throughout the shawl. It starts as one thing, it progresses into a denser pattern, and then opens up again, but with a new lace repeat.
This is a charted book,
Yes.
so all the patterns are charted, so you would have to know how to knit from a chart. The charts are nice and clear. Like Leslie said, that the one that she just liked was a rectangle, and then I really like the Mystic Light as well. So there's a variety of shapes in here. There's rectangles, there's triangles, there's even some semicircular and circular motifs. So it's a good variety. It's definitely like an opus of lace knitting shawls.
Yeah, and for some of these shawls, she actually offers more than one shape. So, for example, this one, Mystic Ice, you can either do it as a triangle or as a square. And actually, I think it's just gorgeous. It's very airy and thin and light. And you can do it as a square, which would involve no purling, I assume, or you can do it as a triangle. And she's got the charts for either one. A note about this is she does use standard symbols for her charts, but the legend or the key for the charts is not in each pattern. It's once at the end of the book. Although I would say if you're adventurous enough to take on one of these shawls, you can probably manage that.
She's also been inspired by lots of different kinds of lace, from Shetlands to Noops to, there's a good variety of lace techniques in here as well. So just, and a good variety of fiber selection, from buffalo to tencel to, she really uses different textures of fiber to play into the patterns as well.
I like a Mystic Star, which is written either as a circular or as a half-circular shawl.
It's really pretty.
It is.
And it's got like a little bit of subtle variation to the yarn as well, which is interesting. It'd be gorgeous in a gradient, like absolutely stunning.
Also, there's Mystic Roses in this gorgeous red. It is a triangular shawl with a strong center motif.
I do like that spine on there quite a bit.
I do too. And she does a really good job of showing you what charts apply to what part of the shawl, where the edging is in the pattern, and where it ends up on the finished object.
Yep.
I think she does a nice job of laying that out as well.
So there's tons of gorgeous shawls here, and you can definitely, because they've been knit as cows, if you go to the Ravelry page for the book, which is linked in the show notes, you can see, like, let me open it right now. So for, let's say, Mystic Light, there are 388 projects already in existence, and that uses a fingering weight. So you can get yarn ideas very easily. You can see projects. You can see where people have added hints. So because it's a book of already published patterns, you get all that information. Yeah,
and Laura, when we were speaking earlier about this, mentioned that really if you like 2 of the patterns in the book, it's worth buying the book. Because you're going to pay that much in the single cost.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's definitely a book that would take a lot of effort to knit through, but I think it would be worth it. And if you are a lace knitter, I definitely think that this is a book that you would be interested in. It is not a beginner book. There is no, this is how you do a yarn over section. And it's all charted. So you have to be aware going in that this is going to be complicated work. I'm a very slow lace knitter, as y'all can see as I look at my chart over here and still mess stuff up on a simple chart. So it is one of those books that the end product is going to be gorgeous, but you also have to love knitting lace.
That's true, but there are people that, like, I know Roz, that's what she enjoys. Roz knits lots of lace because it makes her happy.
Like, I wish I could be one of those people. And I love knitting lace. Mm-hmm. It's just a very slow process for me versus other stuff.
Yeah. So, Laura and I both think that if you're a lace knitter, and I think this has the bonus effect of having so many finished objects already, that you can really easily see whether or not these patterns are for you and whether or not you would like the book, because there's hundreds of variations of each one of these out there already.
Yeah.
So it's
in this case, Ravelry is your friend. That being said, if you've already purchased several of these patterns, unless you really unless you want 2 or more of the other patterns, it might be and I don't know.
God love you if you've knit all these patterns already. You're my hero. Because that is a lot of lace.
She had a Yahoo group at first. I feel like she was originally a Yahoo.
I think so, because she said that her first mystery knit along was in 2007, which was the year Ravelry started, but most people weren't on at Ravelry yet. So
I feel like she was a Yahoo group type person.
Yeah.
So definitely, and she's a wonderful person. I met her at Maryland this year, and I think I've met her once before. She's really, really a nice person. So check out. If you're interested in lace, this would be the perfect book for you.
I agree.
So check it out. And Cooperative Press, like always, does a wonderful job with their books. And this is Mystic Shawls by Anna Dalviapos, and it retails you can buy it in hardcover or in paperback for $26.95, but you can also get it as a Ravelry download for $16.95.
Yeah, and you can always buy the Cooperative Press books directly off the site at cooperativepress.com.
We like supporting Cooperative Press. They've always been really, really good to us, and they are very good to their authors as well, which always makes me happy. So, favorite things. We have the Alice
Knitalong
going on. That's better than others.
I haven't even cast mine on yet. I need to.
Got caught on my phone. So, that's going on for sure. We have a Halloween Craft All the Things. We should just call it a cat. Craft All the Things.
Halloween cat. We actually got a new entry from our friend Lynn, who's making chainmail bracelets with like rainbow rings and everything. So that counts. That's a craft. I mean,
cupcakes count as a craft.
Hell yeah, cupcakes count as a craft.
So there's lots and lots of people have been making project bags. There's lots of different stuff in there. It's a very fun thread, and all of our cheddar for all of our cows and cats are going on in our fall cheddar thread, and I have to get an Alice FO cow thread up there. I didn't think anyone would have finished it in a week, but you could have.
No, there are some people that
have the Georgia on my mind Knitalong going on in honor of our friend Ro,
which will go on forever and ever. So don't feel pressured.
So that will be going on. We have 4 teachers to announce for SSK 2015.
Yes. So if you are not interested in SSK stuff, we're done. And we'll see you next week. And thanks for hanging in there anyway. But yes, so before we announce the teachers for SSK, I do want to say we don't have the sign-ups open yet, and we won't until at least the 15th, because one of our teachers is teaching a new type of craft for our event. We have to rent a different space, and so we're giving up some space in exchange for this other space, but we have to wait until all of the head honchos back at Scarrett Bennett come back so we can make sure the prices are accurate. So anyway, that's why we can't open sign-ups yet, because we want to make sure all the prices are settled before that. So look for that middle of the month.
Yep.
And
we'll also have our vendors chosen probably by the time we do that, and we will write a blog post on the supersummerknittogether.com going over what is included in each option.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yes.
If
you're a vendor and you haven't applied and you want to apply, you have to apply by the 10th of September. After the 10th of September, I'm taking down the application. It's going to be hard as crap as it is, because we've already got some fantastic people that want to come and want to come back, and we're keeping it at a set size. So anyway, teachers, yes. So we have 4 teachers, just like in previous years. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the brand new one first.
Okay. So our new space that we need at Scarlett Bennett is for dyeing. And this teacher is someone who has always been super awesome to us, and every single other dyer that she's ever talked to has had nothing but positive things to say about her. So we would like to welcome Gail Evans of Gail's Art. She's going to be teaching 2 different classes. One of them will be general dyeing, in which your materials fee will cover the cost of a silk blank for a scarf and a skein of yarn. And the other class will be working with gradients and creating your own gradient. So that's going to be awesome as well.
Yep.
I just have to figure out how to make time to take all these classes.
So one class is included in your fee, but you are welcome to purchase additional classes. Another teacher that we have coming to teach, and actually at this last SSK, I don't think anyone realized that Leslie and I snuck away for an hour and we went and looked at spaces to teach the dyeing classes in, because we've had an idea since the very first SSK that we wanted to have a dyeing class.
Right, but a lot of the spaces at SSK aren't really conducive because a lot of them are carpeted, and that's not really a good idea.
Yeah.
And then another area we wanted to have it was like in the main kitchen area, because we have access to all the sinks and heating equipment, but apparently the marble in there is like 100 years old or something, and they're real picky about dyes on their marble. So we finally found a space. Yeah.
With Melissa, our liaison for Scarlett Bennett. She stole us away for a little while last year. So that's one class. We have, Susan B. Anderson, who is our first returning teacher.
Yes.
And we haven't picked out what classes.
We'll do closer. Probably after signups, we'll do a poll on Ravelry with options, and we'll take the top couple of options.
She's got so many awesome classes. Yeah. And we try not to repeat classes that she's teaching at other events that y'all might be going to, so that there's more out there and she's added a ton of classes since she came last time, so super cool.
And she is, we've had wonderful feedback from people on her, and that's the reason we brought her back, was because we had so many people tell us she was wonderful and you need to bring her back.
Including Mama Linneman.
Well, and Mama Linneman carries weight.
Yeah, she does. We also, how about you go next?
So we also, somebody who's been on our list for like 2 years was Sarah Anderson. And for those of you who aren't spinners, you may not know who she is, but she wrote the Spinner's Book of Yarn, which I don't have. I have it right here. It's under a pile of books. I hope I don't kill myself.
I have it on my tablet, too. I have 2 copies of that book, and that's how awesome it is.
So it's a Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs, and this is Sarah.
And we got to meet her at TNNA several years ago.
And she is wonderful and very smart, but also sort of self-deprecating and very funny, and
extremely approachable.
She is, and she knows pretty much everything about spinning. I'm convinced that there is nothing that she does not know about spinning. She's done like experiments of, if I have 4-ply yarn, maybe I'll spin 3 plies one way and 1 ply another way. Like she's done all these what ifs, so she can answer anything.
Especially spinning for socks. Like, she is the authority on spinning for socks, and she's got a great DVD by Interweave, The Building Blocks of Spinning, that's just wonderful, that I sometimes put on in the background when I'm doing other things like cleaning.
Yeah.
I learned something every single time I listen to it. She's amazing. And then our very last teacher, which we are so fortunate to get because she is a
globe-trotting.
She is.
And we're really lucky to grab her in between trips to Shetland, and I think she's in Iceland now.
She is.
Or no, she's in
She was in Iceland for a while.
Oh my gosh. It's somewhere in Amsterdam, but I can't remember what it's called. Copenhagen.
She goes everywhere.
I think she's in Copenhagen. And if that's not in Amsterdam, I'm sorry, I suck at geography, but she's in Copenhagen.
And that is Mary Jane Mucklestone.
Mm-hmm.
And she is one of the premier authorities on Shetland-style colorwork.
Mm-hmm.
And Fair Isle, she is amazing at stuff like that.
So she's got several books out, tons of patterns, and she travels to teach all the time. And we were lucky to snag her for July of next year. So she is our fourth and final teacher for SSK 2015.
I feel like we have a really good variety of people who teach vastly different things and are very down to earth and approachable. So actually, I know all of them are down to earth and approachable because they put up with my nonsense quite a bit, especially Susan. So, and Sarah at TNNA.
Yeah.
Because she's like introducing us to people, and I'm just like, oh. So a wonderful group of teachers. Yes. I'm tickled pink to be able to have them come, and I want to sit in on all their.
I know, that's the thing. Like, I've got to make time to go to all of them.
And I'm going to go to 2 events coming up, but one of them is going to be Stitches South, and I plan on taking lots of classes with people there, because once they've come to Nashville once, you can grab them back, because they figure out how awesome Nashville is, and they want to come back, because Nashville is kind of the bomb.
It is.
It's so much fun, and there's always something different, and I'm going to November 1st be going to Murfreesboro to Fiber in the Borough with Eloise Gale. We decided this Thursday. Carrie of Jelby's going to be there.
Oh, neat.
And Dana Van Wan's going to be there, and so it's and the Yarn Bus, Meg.
Oh, cool.
This is going to be there, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to hang out with Carrie and be her booth mate for a while. So if y'all are in the Nashville area, hopefully I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you at Stitches South. Those are my 2 big upcoming trips for the rest of the year. I'm hoping to go to Maryland, though, again, too.
When is Stitches South, though?
April.
Oh, so that's not this year. That's next year.
Yeah, it's 2015.
Okay. Yeah. I have one trip at the beginning of October and another. Rhinebeck is mid-October.
So go harass Leslie at Rhinebeck. Make her carry 15 pounds of pens.
I don't have 15 pounds of pens to carry, so there.
I can mail you all the pens that I have at my house.
Look, I made progress.
You did.
It's just
I'm just sitting here. I'm not even doing anything. So that's upcoming events. If you are interested in anything we talk about on the show, we put them in the show notes, which is at www.TheKnitGirls with 3Ls.com. We also have a super active Ravelry group where all our cats, cows, and other things are going. So the cats.
I figured it would be.
I'm doing it right now and officially in the show notes. So all that is there, and we hope to see you soon. Don't be a stranger. Drop us a note. So
yes,
we need lots of fun.
And if you have tips on faster flicking, put them in the thread.
Leslie's all about the faster flicking.
It's got to go faster. Faster flicking. There's the episode title right there.
Alrighty.
Okay, you guys have a wonderful week.
Later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.